Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Tank Encyclopedia channel. The last 2 weeks have been thankfully quiet, as summer vacations have taken hold of the Northern Hemisphere. This doesn't mean that we have stopped publishing or working on articles. Far from it, there have been a steady influx of new, interesting pieces. We have also published 2 new YouTube videos, a modeling review of Airfix's Cromwell model, and a gaming review of Call of Duty. The last bit of news is that we have lowered the price of our magazine to $5, which should make it all the more attractive for everyone. If you haven't yet, check it out on lulu.com. The British Army Staff Anti-Aircraft Liaison Letter was a monthly secret report starting in about November of 1942 that continued up to at least August of 1944, although it is believed that the series continues past that date. Redacted copies of the latest reports were frequently sent to training schools in Canada to keep them up to date with the latest information. It covers anti-aircraft operations, organization training, anti-aircraft equipment, and equipment production forecasts. The redacted copies omit all of the information considered secret at the time. This account comes from the February 1943 report. The account, which occurred in North Africa, talks about a private driving a truck when he was attacked by German ground attack fighters. This single man jumped onto the 50 cal machine gun mounted on the truck and is claimed to have destroyed 2 of the 3 attackers. Talk about an unbalanced engagement. In the land of tank-related books, we'll have another look at the Pioneers of Armour series by Andrew Hills. Armor-wise, the First World War was a sort of technological and developmental wild, wild west. Everything was new and untried, and the craziest ideas were seriously considered by the highest forums. In this frenzy, some interesting figures that played a role in the development of the tank are buried away by a lack of sources and of interest. Robert McPhee is one of those innovators. He played an important role in steering the British Landship Committee to tracked vehicle as the correct solution, although he was sidelined after that. Nonetheless, he had an assignment to develop and build an armored fighting vehicle, and would go on to design and patent no fewer than 3 interesting vehicles. You can find out more in the first book of the Pioneers of Armour series, written and published by Andrew Hills. The book is interesting, excellently sourced, and covers some phenomenal history. While the formatting of the book could use some of an improvement, it is an excellent book for the World War I tank fans, and Mr. Hills deserves all the encouragement. We're looking forward to the second book of this series on Colonel R.E.B. Crompton. What happened in the modeling world? Italeri has released their Jagdpanther with new parts in 35th scale, and re-released Battleset with the Stalingrad setting in 72nd scale, also with new parts. Italeri has also introduced a new SD KFZ 234/2 Puma kit, but it's unknown what exactly has been changed. Hobby Time Model Kits released a rebox version of the M48A5 with some new parts in 35th scale. Dragon re-released their M4A3 105mm howitzer or M4A375 W2 IN1 kit in 6th scale, but it only got a new box. Cyber Hobby released their Chinese Volunteer T3485 kit, including figures in 35th scale. Last but not least, Tacom has announced a new Jagdtiger kit in 35th scale, and it will be delivered to distributors later this month. This time around on the gaming segment, we'll be taking a look at the latest update to Tank Crew Clash of Prohovoka module for IL-2 Great Battles, featuring a number of game improvements alongside the addition of the truly iconic Panzer IV Off G. Firstly, the Panzer IV. Coming into the sim fully modeled with the animated crew members, the Panzer IV has the option of mounting or dismounting the additional armor as well as 3 camouflage patterns, 2 summer camos, one of which depicts a historical unit involved in the fighting at Kirsch, while 1 whitewashed winter camo for use on other battlefields in the sim. The Panzer IV-G is armed with a single L-43 75mm cannon and 2 MG-34 machine guns, one mounted in the bow and the second coaxially. 4 crew positions can be player-controlled, driver, gunner, commander, and radio operator, and all can pop their heads out should the players controlling the vehicle require greater visibility during operation. In addition to this new vehicle, the module has also seen a list of overhauls. First, the audio of main caliber gunfire will no longer skip when the main gun is fired rapidly. Player vehicle traverse systems are now subject to damage modeling, and the procedure for switching between main and backup gun sights on player vehicles will now function correctly. Furthermore, the UI for preventing players from taking positions in multiplayer has also been fixed, along with visual glitches on the Prohovoka map which affected the forest and chalk slopes littering the battlefield. For more information on Update 3.102, see the link in the description to the IL2 forums, and for more historical information on the vehicles featured, see the link to the Tank Encyclopedia article on the Panzer IV. For our first article this episode, we present the RO 2001 self-propelled gun. This SPG was part of the RO 2000 series of British light vehicles, which in turn was associated with the Future Family of Light Armored Vehicles, or FFLAV. This series went into development in the 80s with the intention of replacing the FV430 series, the FV510 series, and the CVRT series of vehicles with one universal platform. The RO 2001 was designed for export markets, such as Egypt, and as such, it would be armed with the 122mm howitzer of Egyptian production. Featuring space for a crew of 5, 84 rounds of ammunition storage, and 320 horsepower Perkins TV8 640 engine, this SPG had the ability to travel at 55 km per hour while maintaining a 20-ton weight. Only one prototype was built, and unfortunately it was not accepted into service, and due to political indifference, the project faded away. This article was written by Ed Francis and was illustrated by Brian Gatos with funds from our Patreon. Our second article features the Type 1 Hoha, a Japanese half-track APC. Introduced in 1941, this vehicle was designed to give additional mobility to Japanese soldiers, while providing Japan with the ability to better field its mechanized infantry. These half-tracks were to supplement the transport of infantry, artillery, and supplies, a role already filled in the Japanese army by horses. However, due to logistical burdens, the use of horses for transport became impractical, and the Japanese army expressed a need for vehicles designed to fill this logistical gap. While designed in 1941, industrial material shortages meant that the mass production of the Hoha was postponed until 1944. This open-top vehicle could transport 12 soldiers and could carry 2 tons of cargo. Featuring up to 8mm of armor, it could withstand small arms fire, but it was still open-topped. The Hoha could be armed with up to 3 Type 97 machine guns and was powered by a Type 100 6-cylinder diesel engine, producing 134 horsepower and up to 50 kilometers in speed. Estimates of how many made were varied, but it is generally thought that around 150 to 300 of this specific variant were produced, and most were kept on the home islands, with a few potentially making it to the Philippines. Post-war, most of these vehicles were scrapped, with a few being converted into cargo carriers. This article was written by Enrique Casuso and was illustrated by David Bocale. Also published recently are articles on the Pudel and Felix Panther tanks, the CV-3 Rampa Simovente, the RO 2004 light tank, the Gehpanzerte Mannschafttransportwagen, and the Autoblindo TL-37. That's all for this report. Make sure to follow our website, we'll be releasing new articles on the regular. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Reddit. If you use Discord, there's a link to our community server in the description. And if you would like to help us to continue to develop and expand, consider donating on Patreon. All of the funds will be used to help us enhance and design new articles and features for you. I'm Nathaniel, and until next time, keep us in your sights.